Good morning and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you're all doing good, my dear friends. Today is 30th November and let's start today's day with a positive quote. Let's develop positive attitude. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. When I'm talking about positive attitude, I'll give you a small example, practical example. I'm sure many a times you find an article that you don't like, right? Either you don't like the topic or you don't like that article at all. Or you don't feel to read that article. Now this is something that is emotional, right? Emotions are again a different topic, but it's quite natural. That happens with every one of us. But if you have a positive attitude, or if you want to develop a positive attitude, then you have to take a break of a minute or something and think about why this particular topic or this article is important for you. If you'll not read it, you are just giving fuel to procrastination. If you go through this article, you have to go it twice or thrice, but once you'll go through it twice or thrice, then you will understand the things that are been said in that article. And once you come out of it, you will have this you will have this confidence. This is something that we go through every day, and there are so many things every day, they are good for us, but we don't do it because we have this negative attitude. So next time when you come across a thing, and I'm sure you will come across something today itself, so make sure that you take a break of a minute, think about it, and act on it with a positive attitude. With this, our pen drive and tablet courses are available for various different exams. To find out more about it, do check out StudyIQ.com. If you have any question or queries, you can feel free and give us a call on the numbers that you can see on your screen. Now, the first article that we are going to talk about today is this one, Walking the Tightrope. Very important article. There are so many things that I want to discuss with you guys on this article. This article talks about this 6-month waiver on sanctions that is given to us. Not only us, there are total 8 countries, right? China is also included in this thing. This waiver on sanctions is allotted or given to us by United States of America. Now, USA is not United Nations, isn't it? USA is a country, just like India, just like China, just like Sri Lanka, or any other country like Mauritius, right? USA is also a country, but how come USA, keeps on dictating what is right and what is wrong for us and what we should do and what we should not do? And this sort of dictation is coming from USA, and not just for us, but for the whole world for a very long period of time, isn't it? So this is something that is going on. Now, yesterday I got a question from one of you that you were wondering how Russia can annex Crimea, that is part of Ukraine, and how this you can say that no one has said anything or has done anything about it. There are various reasons behind it, and I'll give you some more, you can say, core reasons, right? You have this United Nations Security Council. You have 5 permanent members. They are known as P5 members. And you have UK, USA, you have France, Russia, and China. These are 5 countries that are part of this P5. The special thing about this, or being a P5, is that you get a veto power, VETO, right? This veto power. So how it works, if say 4 countries out of this 5, if 4 countries are saying that we need to attack India, say for example, and if one country is saying no, right, then as well you cannot do anything about it, right? You have to go with the no. If all countries are saying yes, then only this attack will take place. If even one country is saying no, then you cannot do anything about it. And the whole world, or I would say United Nations, cannot do anything about it. So Russia is part of this UNSC. So when it comes to United Nations, nothing can be done here because Russia is having this veto power. So this is how it works, and when USA is doing something, that is completely not right, then as well you cannot do anything about it, or other countries cannot do anything about it because they have this veto power. Now, a very interesting thing is that when it comes to veto power, right, these countries, these P5s, they have misused it many times, and interesting thing is that when it comes to sharing this veto power with other countries, if India is saying that we want to become part of this P5, let's make it P6 and give all those powers that you are enjoying at present And then these 5 countries are, they become, all of a sudden they become one team, and they say, no, we cannot allow this veto power to other countries. We want to keep it with ourselves only. So this is how the world is working at present. So now I'm sure regular students, you are aware about this JCPOA, or this Iran nuclear deal, what it is all about. It was signed, means United Nations was represented by this few countries, right? You have 6 countries in total. You have this P5 plus 1. This plus 1 is Germany, right? So Germany and this P5, so total 6 countries. They had, or they signed an agreement with this country called Iran. So it was not a deal between these 7 countries, but it was a deal of United Nations. So it was a deal of world community, and this JCPOA, or this Iran nuclear deal, was signed. Everything was sorted out, and I'm talking about Barack Obama's era. Now a new person comes in, Mr. Trump comes in, and he's the new president, as we all know, and he steps out of this JCPOA unilaterally, right? A country on its own decides that this particular deal is not fine, even if other 5 countries, apart from USA, other 5 countries of this deal, they are saying that they have done, means Iran is doing Iran is doing fine. Iran is following all these things that we have agreed upon. Even international, this Atomic Energy Agency, that is IAEA, has also said that Iran is doing fine. Iran is following all those things that are agreed in this JCPOA or Iran nuclear deal. But then as well, USA is not happy with this thing because of various political reasons or geopolitical reasons, like you have Saudi Arabia and Israel. These are 2 countries that are best friends of USA, and they were not happy with this JCPOA or this Iran nuclear deal, and there are multiple reasons behind it. We have talked about it, so I'm not going into all those small details, but in a nutshell, I can say that USA has many times in the past, in present, and I believe in future as well, it is going to take this sort of disruptive decisions, and it's very sad that the whole world, we are a democratic country, but when it comes to geopolitics or global level, even today the world is not that democratic. We find this authoritarianism in USA's behavior when it comes to, well, so they came out with this CAATSA. USA came out with this law called, it's USA's own law, right? CAATSA. And in this CAATSA, as per this CAATSA, you cannot, a friendly country of USA should not deal with enemy country of USA. Then you have 2 enemies at present, or 3, right, to be specific. One is North Korea, the other one is Russia, and the third one is Iran. So you cannot deal with a friendly country like India. Should restrain. It should refrain from dealing with Russia, with Iran, because of this CAATSA. So the CAATSA was, it came into existence and it was passed, and there was a timeline of its implementation. It was November, right, starting of this month. This thing came into, it came into force. And before that, Mr. Trump announced that 6 more months will be given to friendly countries, and by this 6 months, they should reduce their dependence on Iran. May it be China, may it be India, they should get rid of Iran altogether. Now energy is something that is now the first question is why USA is being, why USA has granted or allowed us extra 6 months, because USA understands this thing, that energy is a very important thing for India. We'll just talk about India, we're not talking about other countries here. So energy is something that is absolute, necessary thing for India. We know its ripple effect. We were talking about this rise in crude oil price or drop in crude oil price, and import and exports, and its ripple effect on our country. So if government of India comes under pressure because of something that is been done by USA, then this is going to hamper USA and India's relationship. And there are so many things, right? It's not just about selling and buying things. There are other, there is a wide spectrum of things. Or when I say wide spectrum, I'm talking about there are so many things when it comes to India and USA's relationship. There are something there are a few things out there that USA can achieve only with the help of India. I'll give you one example as well. So back in April 2018, USA and India, we have signed this strategic energy partnership. And last year, November, and exactly 1 year ago, in 2017, USA came out with this national security strategy in which energy dominance was clearly mentioned. Now, energy dominance is something, this USA and Saudi Arabia, say for example, has always used it. The recent case of Jamal Khashoggi and the stand taken by USA is not that harsh on Saudi Arabia. Based on this, this Jamal is one of the reason is this energy dominance, because Saudi Arabia is #1 producer of oil, and it has been an ally of USA. It has been a big supplier of oil to USA, but now USA has its own technology. Yesterday I was explaining you this thing, shale gas extraction. So this is how it works. This is how they drill into this rocky area. They go beyond this water table, and then you have this gas that is trapped here, and then they will inject water, high pressure water, and then gas will come up, and then they will capture this gas, and this is how it works. So this is just a small example, shale gas extraction. And because of this shale gas technology, USA became an independent country when it comes to gas and oil supply. So USA in fact started exporting this thing, a product that USA used to import from various different countries. Now USA is exporting that particular product. Just imagine, when today India is importing 80% of our oil requirement, energy requirement is coming from various different countries. And just imagine tomorrow India starts producing that much amount of gas and oil, and in fact we start exporting it. So you can see that we will become independent in so many terms, isn't it? We will there are so many things that we can do later after that, once we are independent, once our energy requirement is completed. Remember the words of Prime Minister Narendra Modi during this International Solar Alliance meeting, this ISA meeting, International Solar Alliance meeting. At that point of time, Mr. Modi said that in future we'll see that ISA will become a very important player, or its weightage will increase. At present, we know this OPEC. OPEC is a group that decides the retail or this price as well as quantity of crude in international market, and they can do it because it's a group of all these oil producing countries, isn't it? In future, when we'll have renewable technologies, and ISA, India is a founding member, so when this dominance of renewable energy, we'll see this sunshine in this portion, in this renewable energy. At that point of time, OPEC's weight will come down, and ISA will become, you can say, a heavyweight group. So I hope things are all right. When I say all right, I mean to say it's making sense here what I'm talking about. We are talking about geopolitics. There are so many things, it's all interdependent in nature. Today's global energy market is interdependent in nature. Like when we are importing oil from Iran, it's not that just we are importing it for our use. Iran is a big producer, no doubt, #3 supplier when it comes to India's energy source. But at the same time, right, Iran is lacking in refineries. So it's not that we are just buying oil from Iran. We are also refining oil for Iran, and then we are selling it. We are giving it back to Iran, or Iran is selling it from India to some other countries, to third countries. So it's all interdependent. We need them and they need us. We have been dealing with them in rupee, right? We are trying to match up this bilateral trade. We are trying to supply more goods from India to Iran so that we don't have to pay anything. But this is something that Iran is not happy about. We have to look after the relationship that we have with Iran. We cannot just, every time do what USA wants us to do, because we have this historical relationship with Iran. If you go back in medieval era, at that point of time, these jobs of secretaries and other things were done by Iranian people. We have this Parsi language. was official language of Delhi Sultanate, and then we have Urdu, mixture of Parsi and Hindi, and then we have Urdu. So culturally, historically, politically, economically, there are so many, you can say, strengths, or there are commonalities, and we have something in common with Iran. So we cannot just destroy this historical relationship. The other thing is USA is also well aware about this thing, that this Iran is important for Afghanistan's development, because here you have Pakistan. Now USA is well aware about Pakistan's behavior, and because all these countries, the Central Asian countries, are not that happy with the USA, or they are a bit pro Russia, so they will never allow this access route of these items, this USA's item into Afghanistan. And again, they are not sharing any sort of you can say direct. You can say they are mostly landlocked, right? They have this Black Sea and other places here and there, but still you have Russia here, so Russia will not allow USA to operate in its territory, or it's next door neighbors. So only option is Pakistan. Want to supply something in Afghanistan, the USA has to rely on Pakistan. Now India's role is also important. This is something that USA appreciates. So what we are doing, we are working with Iran, and we are developing this Chabahar port. Now Chabahar port is important for Afghanistan. It is important for USA, right? USA knows that India will help Afghanistan, and for India it is very important because we have this international north-south trade corridor. We are part of this INS TC, and you can see here that this traditional route, or this old route connecting St. Petersburg and Mumbai, it's quite lengthy. You have to enter this Bab al Mandeb, and from there you cross the Suez Canal, then Mediterranean. Then you can either take this route via Istanbul, Bosporus Strait, and then you can reach here. Yesterday we were talking about this portion, remember, Sea of Azov. And then you can either go through Gibraltar. We were talking about Gibraltar a couple of days ago, and then you reach here. So it's quite lengthy route, but you have a shortcut here via Chabahar. You can help Afghanistan. You can get in touch with all these countries, Central Asian countries. They are rich in oil and other things, and then you can connect with Moscow as well. Moscow is also rich in oil and gas, and we can boost our trade. We can boost so many things. So I hope things are clear to you. So USA also needs us for Afghanistan. So it's a wide spectrum, and this thing was not discussed that much, but I would like to add here, when Nikki Haley was here in India, Nikki Haley was USA's ambassador to United Nations. When she was here in India at that point of time, she said that Chabahar is important indirectly for USA as well, because USA appreciates this role of Chabahar, and connectivity of India to Chabahar, and via that Afghanistan and things like that. So that's everything in this particular article. As I told you, this was one of the most important article of the day. And then we have this Cool It is easy to understand article, not that difficult. Now remember, if you are a regular student, then you would be aware about this thing, that we have talked about it many a times, that when we were talking about climate change, I told you that just rising temperature, it has a sort of ripple effect on so many things. I'll give you one example. Like I told you, remember that it will destroy temperature sensitive crops like wheat. It can dry, it can evaporate all this water that we have. This evaporation rate will go up. We'll need more electricity because of more heat, more ACs and more fans, and this will require more electricity. And if we are producing electricity via coal, then it is going to add more pollution. So just one thing, right? A rise in temperature can impact so many things, isn't it? The ripple effect is very bad. And I also told you this thing, like country like India, where we are in tropical region. So in summertime, when we have heat waves, then labor work cannot be executed. I told you this point as well, and I told you that there are for laborers, you know, for this labor class, they get their money on day-to-day basis. So if they're not allowed to work, or if there is a day off, then that is going to hit them very badly, because they buy things on regular basis. They earn regularly and they buy things on regular basis. They don't have savings and other sort of you can say reserves or safety net, if I can put it this way. So I hope it's fresh again in your memory, right? Now here we have one figure, as you can see on your screen. 2017, right? In 2017, 153 billion hours of labor was lost because of heat wave. In India, as per this Lancet magazine, India lost about 75 billion hours of work because of heat wave, and agriculture sector, significant amount of this this labor work was lost in agriculture sector. So agriculture sector is important because 50% plus population is associated with agriculture. So you can imagine now just impact of a little bit of a rise in temperature or heat wave can hit us so badly. The ripple effect is so bad, isn't it? It is also said that when it comes to health, right, millions and millions of people are getting affected because of this rise in temperature. And with pollution, you know, rising air pollution is a big problem. In our country back in 2015, 500,000, that is 5 lakh plus people had their premature death because of air pollution. It is also said that rising temperature will enable the dengue virus and malaria to spread faster and farther. It is also said that infectious disease will rise, and it will become, you can say, a sort of it will become viral or epidemic because of this rise in temperature. So these are some of ripple effects of this rise in temperature. Now a very important meeting is going to take place in 3-4 days from now, and I have a question for you guys. Can you give me the name of the country in which this United Nations Climate Conference is going to take place in December 2018? So that's a question for you guys. If you know the answer, stick your answer either in the chat box or in the comment section of this video. And dear friends, this article is talking about this Kerala and Cyclone Gurj. What this article is saying, or this editorial is saying, that we need to represent this this damage that has been caused by this climate change in Kerala, and Cyclone Gurj has caused this damage in Tamil Nadu, and we need to represent the figures and other things in this upcoming meeting, so that this climate funds that are born of contention, this developed countries are not ready to give or they are not ready to share this funds with developing countries, and we need this money, and we need to present this figure so that it will make them realize that it is important. This thing is hitting us badly, and tomorrow it can hit them badly as well. Now one more observation from my side, my personal opinion, that that's what I believe. We are living at present, in cities, in our countries, in our country, in our cities, and particularly this developing countries and cities of developing countries. You find this thing that we have all different types of pollution. We have water pollution. We are living with air pollution, drinking water issues, and sanitation issues, and solid waste, that is sanitation, of course. That we have noise pollution in our country. So all these things are going on, and 99% of losses from climate change related events are taking place in low income countries. And that means low income, 99% of losses are not insured, and so all these people, this is one of the reasons why we need to ask for help for the people of Tamil Nadu. All right. Still, I would like to add here that if you have not, then I would reckon you guys to do contribute to help the people of Tamil Nadu. And the thing is, 99% of losses are not insured when it comes to this low income countries like India. So it becomes a bit more severe. You know, this poverty cycle, this vicious cycle will go on and on. So I hope you can understand the gravity of this article and this rise in temperature. Then we have this the case of Progressive International. It's about this international cases, particularly transnational cases. Nowadays what we are finding is that, you know, more and more cases are more you can say most of the times when it comes to MNC and our country, we are dragged into these international tribunals, because when it comes to two nations like India and any other country, right, treaties are signed between India and that country, and then this allows MNCs to enter into our country and they can do business over here. Now we have our constitution, we have our democratic obligations, and when we find some sort of public health emergencies or economic crisis or any other sort of public welfare things, then of course government will, as a welfare state, government will do everything that will help the citizens of our country. Like say for example, if things are going bad here in Tamil Nadu, if people have lost their houses and people are suffering from some sort of waterborne diseases, and now government can do this thing. Government can make medicines or distribute medicines for free, isn't it? Now this is something that these MNCs are not happy about. When it comes to this Patent Act, we have democratically, we have our own, you know, when I say democratically, I mean to say that we have passed these laws from our parliament, and we are a sovereign nation. We have to look after our people, but you know, when we sign these treaties, many times what happens is, I'll give you one example of medicine, and I believe this will help you to understand what I'm trying to say. So imagine you have this medicine for malaria that is that will cost you $100, one medicine, right? Just one pill will cost you $100 in USA, or maybe a cancer medicine. In USA it will cost you $100, and the price is high because a particular company of USA has designed a new formula. They have got patents and things like that on this particular medicine. Now an Indian company can easily copy this content of this medicine, and we can sell that item. If we can produce it for, say for example, 5 rupees, then we can sell it for 6 rupees in our country, or maybe 5 rupees, or maybe free as well, depending on the situation. If we have this huge number of cases of malaria in one particular area, then government can provide this thing as an essential medicine. Now this will not make that MNC happy, isn't it? Because in USA they are making profits, but over here they are making nothing. In fact, they are making losses. So they will drag us to international or this transnational. This case will become a transnational case because they will drag us to international tribunals. Now international tribunals, they will go through this technicality of things, right? They will focus on this treaties that we have signed with that particular country. So what we need to focus here is that we need to pay attention to this democratic values, and we need to convince this countries, mostly developed countries, that many a times we have to take steps that are financially not viable for us or for them, but in terms of social welfare they are important. And this is not something that just India can do. We need the support of other countries as well. They need to provide us backup. And we have example of this Democracy in Europe Movement 25, DIM 25. It is about this country called Greece. So the financial crisis through which Greece is going, and it was going, and at that point of time, Greece Parliament and this European nations together, they took a decision that was a fine, balanced decision. So we need this sort of balanced decision with all these cases that are going on. So I hope things are easy to. It's not that important, but still, when I say not that important, of course intellectual property right is part of your syllabus, but you don't have to go through this DIM 25 is. You don't have to go through their articles and other things. Just a basic understanding is more than enough. Now let's go through most important items that we find in news today. Imran Khan is ready to have a chat with India. That's what he has said. He has said that he is ready to have a fresh start, taking Verma off his duty, and it's not a transfer, has been said by central government in the Supreme Court. CBI versus CBI case is going on. Now fuel price has gone down, so imagine the ripple effect of this thing on our economy. We have a new eye in the sky, And here you have this infographic, and I want you guys to go through this infographic, right? It's important, and these are your upcoming missions: GSAT 11, GSAT 7A, and Chandrayaan 2. Lioness found dead in Gir forest. Now, population of lions in Gir is, maintaining them, and we have to ensure that they are flourishing here. Nothing secret about Taj has been said in this vision document, has been said by Supreme Court. So Supreme Court has said that this should be released. Jaitley moots new federal bodies. He's talking about healthcare and agriculture sector. Just like GST, we need some sort of, this council, health council or agriculture council when it comes to these two sectors. Reggae gets its heritage list, intangible cultural heritage. That's what reggae is. Reggae was started by and promoted by Bob Marley, and UNESCO is the body that decides all this intangible cultural sites. This is your timeline if you want to go through it, and these are your vocabs. Yesterday's map based answer. One of you, you were struggling with this, so how you should prepare for it, or how you find out if you are not sure about it. Read the comment section, read the comments, right? English version comments as well as Hindi comments, or Hindi versions comments, and then you'll find many of your colleagues or co-mates have provided their answers, and based on their answers you can find this topic. This is your new picture based topic. So what it is all about, this is your answer, this is your question, new question of the day, and you can go through it once you download the PDF, right? That's everything. Do share this lecture with other students. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Jai Hind.